Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be looking at another critical aspect where WAEC and NECO questions comes from. And this typical aspect is what we call comprehension. What is comprehension? Comprehension is an aspect of examination where passages are given to students to read and understand, where a passage is given to a student for students to read, understand, and answer the questions on various topics of English language. So you can see how critical it is. A passage will be given to you. Depending on the type of passage, the candidate is asked to read carefully. So carefulness calls in this type of examination. You are asked to read carefully the passage and answer the given questions under it. So when we're talking about the comprehension passage, we are talking about passages that test candidates' understanding. Is the type of questions being asked that test candidates' understanding about a given passage. This passage could come from any topic. It could be passages that could be narrative, that could be descriptive, that could be explanatory. The candidate's understanding is tested in this type of questions, and how well you are able to answer depends on the scores and the marks you are going to earn. If this is your first time of watching this channel, this is your online English tutor at Banky's Corner. Do well to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for topics ranging from communication and to different topics that are under English language. So far, we have been looking at some of the key areas where candidate needs to prepare for WAEC and NECO examination. So today is not going to be an exception. We are looking at comprehension. Like I said, in this section, the candidate's understanding is tested. Ability to read and understanding. Of course, that's what comprehension is all about. Ability to read and understand what has been given as a passage. When the candidate is able to read and understand, answering such questions under it won't be difficult at all. So let's look at these various areas where candidates should take note of. Let's look at the various aspects of this comprehension where candidates are to actually take note of so as to earn a good mark in their forthcoming examination. I've highlighted this on the board, and the first area which you need to pay attention to is questions asked are traditionally requested in complete English sentence. Remember, it's English language examination. Of course, when you want to answer, your answers must also be written in English language. So questions are asked after you've read, after the passage. You are meant to answer the questions accurately, accordingly. How do you answer the questions? Of course, it requires you to make use of the English language. Aside that, what type of sentence are you expected to use? I will say the English sentence normally required is simple sentence. And of course, when we are talking about simple sentence, we are talking about subject and verb. Simple, coherent, clear, and short. Simple, coherent, clear, and short. You don't need long, complicated, compound, complex sentences to answer your comprehension questions. Remember, you do not have enough time. You are being guided with your short time given to you. So you need to be conscious of your time in order to be able to meet up with the time, because you still have other papers to write. So comprehension questions requires usage of simple sentence. Very simple, clear, concise, and short. Another area to be considered is occasionally the complex sentence type may be relevant. There are some times that you might require complex sentence type, especially to present answers to questions which focus comparisons, contrasts, and concessions. There are some passages that focuses on comparison. They compare ideas, they compare issues, opinions, and you are asked to bring out the comparison. Sometimes it is contrast. Sometimes it focuses on contrast And concessions. Concessions means you agree. So these passages vary depending on the type of passages given to you. You look at it from the focus of the answer. Okay, is this a comparison question? Is this passage contrastive in nature, or is it concessive in nature? So you look at it. That might require you to use a more complex sentence, not just a simple. It might require that you make use of complex sentence. Another key area is it is relevant to begin the answer with the focus of the question. Remember the first thing to do after you have been given the paper. Look, read carefully. That is why it is stated there. Read carefully. Carefulness calls. Read with focus. Read with understanding and get a concise meaning of what you are required to do. Then you go over to the questions. You go over to the questions and make sure the answers to be given is with focus of the questions. The answers to be given must be relevant to the focus of the question. The answers given has to be relevant. It is relevant to begin the answer with the focus of the question. It is relevant to begin the answers with the focus. There's always a focus. Just like when treating comprehension, we talked about the topic sentence. There's always a topic sentence in a sentence. From the topic sentence, you can easily deduce that, okay, this is what this passage is all about. Remember, the comprehension passage is all about understanding what you have been given to answer. Understand the passage, understand the question. Let focus be your guidance. Let me reiterate some of the type of questions you are likely to meet in your comprehension passage, in the section of comprehension in your exams. Like I said earlier, these questions could be enumerative questions, comparison questions, illustrative, or concession. The passages could be an enumerative passage, an illustrative passage, a discursive one, and a concessive type of questions. So depending on the passage dictates the type of questions being asked under the comprehension questions. So like I said, the questions could be enumeration questions, so you get ready for that. Could be questions that ask you to compare two ideas, two opinions, whatsoever. And it could be questions, it allows you to illustrate. It's from the illustration given, of course, you offer your own answers. It could be concession. They do not need your opinion. This is it. Explain why this is so. Remember, in comprehension questions, please take note of this. Always restrict your answers to your understanding of the passage. Always restrict your answers to your understanding of the passage. You restrict your answers to the understanding of the passage. Remember, you have read it carefully. Now time to answer the questions. Let your questions be restricted to the understanding. Why must you do this? Because no one is interested in your opinion. You do not go outside the passage and bring your own opinion or your own idea into the passage. This will not earn you good marks. Your personal opinion, you keep it to yourself. No one requires your personal opinion. What is required is what is written in the passage. So, no one is interested in your personal opinion on the topic under discussion. Your personal opinion, your personal prejudices should be set aside. Focus on the passage. I talked about focus. Make sure the relevancy of your question revolves around the focus of the passage. Also, you should not allow your belief or opinions to affect your reactions or answers to the passage. Maybe the passage is talking about what you did not really agree with. That doesn't mean you should condemn it. Oh, I feel this passage ought not to be written like this. I don't believe in this. Your opinion, your ideas do not surface in answering this type of question. You keep it aside. Maybe after the examination, you can begin to ruminate upon it. But as at that time of answering, please, your personal prejudices, your personal opinions should be dumped at that level. Make sure what is written is what you give back. Please make sure what is written in the passage is what it is given back. No personal opinion, no personal belief, no personal whatever. Please restrict your answers according to the passage, to the understanding of the passage. If you have not subscribed still, please subscribe. Not just subscribe, make sure you share this broadcast. We have many candidates who are about to sit for this exam, less than a month, less than few weeks away. So please make sure you like, you share, you subscribe. And for the existing subscribers, I say thank you. Keep watching and keep being the best in whatever you do as far as English language is concerned. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.